What up, Buzz? You tapped in? Okay, Goose, you tapped in too? All right, Chicago, y'all tapped in? All right, boys, let's crack 'em. Feel like Mike in the fourth with the ball in my hands and I'm taking a shot. I'm the king in the madhouse on Madison, whether I make it or not. Now the crowd going crazy, they watching the play and I'm watching the clock. Got my shot in the air and the buzzer go off and I'm watching it drop. This team did things, MJ shot City 6 rings. D-Rose too big, too fast, too strong, history. And we good on that, put Jilla on the track and we good on wax. 3, 2, 1, everybody say Bulls on tap, Bulls on tap. Our city pretty and gritty. Benny the bull in the crowd getting hyper and litty. Me, I'm so drippy, it's slippery, nothing offends me. Banners on banners, we winners. We got the stats in the news. Go and subscribe, hang out with Buzzy and Goose. Tapping with us, we the truth. Jilla just murdered the booth.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Bulls on Tap. I'm your boy Buzz. I'm joined by my dude Goose, aka Bulls Scripted, and we're here to recap a Chicago Bulls victory over the San Antonio Spurs 120-109. Before we do that, be sure you're going on tapsportsnet.com for all your Chicago sports literature and podcasting needs. Following us on Twitter at Bulls on Tap, at On Tap Sportsnet, following Goose at Bulls Scripted, and me at Buzz on Tap. Anywhere you can listen to podcasts, you can listen to us, 5-star rating and review, because that's cool and tough. If you are on Twitter or Facebook, please leave those platforms. Go over to the YouTube, subscribe to the YouTube channel, On Tap Sportsnet YouTube channel, hop in the comment section. Let's get this shit popping off. All of the regulars seem to be flooding in as we speak. Goose, close game. Even though the score, it was 11, they won by 11, but it was a close game, and the Bulls actually gained their first double-digit lead there within like the last minute and a half, 2 minutes. Were you fearful the Bulls were going to lose this game to the Spurs and drop 2 games to them this year?
Yeah, I was. I mean, I'm not going to lie. I shouldn't be at this point of the season because of the man that we have in the fourth quarter. I should be a lot more comfortable at this point in time, but with ever-changing rotations and lineups here with all of our injuries, it's hard to be confident in these situations because you're throwing 5 guys out there that usually don't play at the end of games together. So still a little nervous. Obviously would like to think confidently that we beat the Spurs, but I'd be lying to say that I thought we had that one in the bag.
Yeah, I was a little nervous. I mean, they just kept hanging around. Obviously, Zach LaVine. He did travel to Los Angeles to get that not a second opinion, to see the specialist on his left knee. So we didn't have him tonight. Javonte Green did return tonight. Obviously, Derrick Jones Jr. back in the rotation, playing with that fractured finger. But it was a weird start to the game because DeMar was not DeMar with his wife and kids in the crowd tonight. He started off slow. He started off 1 for 6. Looked like he was kind of forcing it, and he's getting very frustrated with the refs, but we just have to give the man his due. I'd love to sit here and talk about little things that happened in the game and everything like that. So I'll give the DAP now before we go on a complete rant here. I'll give the DAP now to Kobe White, Nikola Vucevic, and Ayo Dosunmu for playing really great games. For Javonte doing Javonte things. This is the Javonte Green Power Hour. Great job, Javonte, with the hustle and everything that you've done. But we have to talk about DeMar DeRozan. This is his 16th career 40-point game, the 3rd this season. As you pointed out before, fourth quarter, he just came alive and took over, doing DeMar things. And you put a tweet out, and I have it pulled up here. You put a tweet out before we hopped on the Bulls on Tap. It was 10 minutes ago. You said DeMar DeRozan is the MVP. Tell your mom, grandma, cousins, and neighbors because the disregard for what he's done in comparison to the others is unfair. There are not more than 4 better players in the league this season. Team success has to be incorporated. I know we've talked about it a little bit before, but I think that we've always given credit where credit's due to Nikola Jokic and Joel Embiid. Even LeBron James, who's having a great season in LA statistically. What made you tweet that? Like, I know that you believe he's the MVP, but I always know that you've been subjective to it as well. Like, you understand guys like Embiid and Jokic and shit. What made you tweet that tonight?
It's more so just because I keep seeing these NBA.com polls. Who really gives a shit about them? But they got this man ranked like 9th in the MVP rankings, and that doesn't sit well with me. Like, the Bulls are in a very competitive conference, 1 through 10, 1 through 12. In our conference is a dogfight. Every night you're having a matchup that's a playoff team, a play-in team, somebody that's competitive, that wants to be there. And the Bulls have been in first most of the year, led by none other than DeMar DeRozan. The Bulls have battled more injuries than almost any other team. Obviously, some of the severity, 6 to 8 weeks, is manageable compared to some of the other injuries around the league. But
and to your point with that too, because I know the beginning of the year was a long ago, it feels like now, but the COVID thing that ravaged the locker room for a long time too, that we dealt with, that we kind of don't talk about anymore.
Exactly. So even the beginning of the season, which is all these injuries and all the turmoil, on top of being on a brand new roster, it's not like there was chemistry or really anything set up here from previous seasons. This is all brand new. To come in and do what he's doing, especially in this stretch of these 35-plus point games, is ridiculous. Every team knows what they're going to do. They're loading up on this man, 2 to 3 people, and by the time that third defender gets there, he's dropping a bucket in your face. It is like you can't stop him. There's nothing you can do, and just in comparison, obviously the big men in our league like Jokic and Embiid can do a little bit of everything, but you're not seeing them bring the ball up from half court and just straight up demoralizing a team. Like it's not happening. And just the team success has to be incorporated more than anything.
Yeah, I think we talked about this. When you take him off the team, they're not a playoff team. I'm sorry, they're not. With the injuries that they have. I mean, who knows what would have happened with Lonzo staying healthy, Caruso staying healthy, Patrick Williams staying healthy, and who knows what would have happened with that. But unfortunately, they didn't. And this is what we have. And not unfortunately, but you know what I mean? We obviously want to be healthy, but look what he's done. And to your point, when you were talking about this streak that he's on, his last 6 games, I want to read you this off real quick. Last 6 games for DeMar DeRozan. 45 points on 60% shooting from the field, 38 points on 59% shooting from the field, 36 points from 68% shooting from the field, 35 points from 64% shooting from the field, 38 points, 50% from the field, and tonight's 40 points, 67% from the field. It's the longest streak of 35-point games on 50% shooting in Bulls history. MJ never did it.
You can't say that about just about anything on any team.
Right. I didn't come up with that by myself. That's from StatMuse. And I just read that from StatMuse. But I would have guessed MJ did it.
Well, no, I mean, on the broadcast, they at least had the consecutive 35-point game stat. And I believe MJ had 7 consecutive the one season and then 10. So DeMar now has 6, which you just read off for us here. That is ridiculous.
I mean, and not to even mention the scoring, Goose, but I mean, the rebounding and the assists to come along with it. These are full, complete games. I won't go down like the assists for everyone and the rebounds for everyone, but I mean, the lowest he had assist-wise has been 4, and that was twice. Everything has been 5 and up. And boards, the lowest he had was 3 is one time. Other than that, it's been 5 and up. So he's doing that while scoring the ball this efficiently. So I just, I wanted to spend the time on him tonight because I feel like he's getting respect a lot from hoopers around the league. I feel like he's even like guys like Wilbon who keep him alive on ESPN and talk about, like how he's been and stuff like that. Even Chicago Sports Radio has been giving DeMar a ton of love, but it came down to the point for me these last couple games with Zach being out and just another blow to an already hurtful season injury-wise for the Bulls. And what he's doing, there's no reason. I'm sorry, he's the MVP of the NBA. And I'm trying not to be a homer. I'm really not. I know I like to joke about that, but I watch a ton of ball, and I'm not saying I know any more ball than the next guy, but I've watched him beat. I like Philly. Like, I don't like Philly, but I like to watch them. They're a good team. Like, I watch Philly.
You have to think that them getting Harden is going to hurt Embiid's chances a little bit here in terms of stats. One.
Oh yeah, but if people aren't taking that into
account, going to be sharing that limelight.
Right. I think it's going to hurt him a little bit. It's not going to be terrible, but it's going to hurt him a little bit because you know how James Harden plays the game. James Harden looks for his. Yeah, he gets a crazy ton of assists. Like he was averaging a double-double. But you know James Harden, when it comes down
only
to
the guy who has the basketball can get an assist.
Well, right. And when it comes down to crunch time, we know what James Harden's going to do because history tends to repeat itself. But if the season were to end today, I think I would I'd throw a real serious bitch fit if he if he didn't get real consideration. If he got real consideration
and that's my thing.
Okay.
Like I said, bottom 9, not cool. There is not 4 better players in the league than him this year. I'm not saying there's not more talented players. I'm not saying there's not players that I wouldn't rather have at the start of the season or going forward after this season. But this fucking season right now, there are not 4 better players in the NBA than DeMar DeRozan, and he needs to get his respect because it is legitimately not fair.
And like, I'm glad you said that about the talent thing. You're not making this a talent thing. This is a statistically driven argument over a player that has refused to let his team sink below the fucking, like, into the play-in.
Well, and you have the rare situation where he wasn't on this team the previous year.
Take that into account too, right?
You know, like, we've won more games already headed into the All-Star break than we won in total all last season. Right. A lot of that has to do with adding DeMar DeRozan. Because with our injuries, we haven't got as much Zoe as we'd want. We haven't got as much Caruso as we'd want. A lot of our other big-time free agent signings haven't played as much as we'd like to see.
We only got 35 games Alonzo Ball, 30.
The All-Star we
games
had
Caruso.
To start the year, and Zach has not played as many games as we need him to play. And DeMar has kept this team afloat through Vooch's struggles, through the injuries, through COVID, through every test you've thrown at this man since he's gotten to Chicago. He has played like the MVP. Raising Ayo Dosunmu, a second round pick, to a rotational starting level player, like that, the leadership he's provided, MVP level. Like every aspect of that man's game outside of defense, MVP level.
Right. I think that Ayo definitely had the talent. Like, we've talked to Alex Root about this a million times, and I love Illinois basketball as well. Ayo definitely had talent, but I think that he was put in the literal situation with the best vet he could have possibly been put with in DeMar DeRozan. I don't know how much consideration that would catch, but I do agree with you. I think it's something that it's kind of cool to look at and be like, look, man, he's just so supportive. He's helping these guys turn into fucking key rotational players. I mean, especially for Ayo, who's a second round rookie and, a rookie overall. He's still a rookie. Doesn't matter if you're first or second round. You're going to have some issues here and there. But I mean, Ayo's really risen to the challenge, and a lot of that can be contributed to DeMar DeRozan. This is DeMar coming off his his third Player of the Week honors. He got. And this is another thing I wanted to talk to you about here on the show. So he averaged 36.8 points last week, 4.8 rebounds, 4.8 assists, 5.5 boards, and the Bulls went 3-1 during that span. Okay. NBA.com ranked the Bulls 13th.
I saw that
in their power rankings. And I know, like you said, you don't want to. Yeah, it is. It really fucking is, because they went 3-1 last week. They're, just completely ravished. We're not going to go down the rabbit hole of injuries again that we just did. But that's why I'm fearful DeMar DeRozan's not going to get his rub. If he's not all NBA first team, I'll be fucking shocked. I'll throw that out there right now. But when you say he's fucking ninth in this MVP ladder thing, no one's paying attention to him. But no one's paying attention to the Bulls either. Like, just the Bulls, they fell to the wayside again because Zach's out, or what? What is it? You have a guy who is putting up numbers. God damn, look at Luka Doncic's numbers. I'm sorry, my fucking, how my mind just goes a million different. They're side by side, but 43, 8, and 10 for him last week. Luka Doncic, 3 games, 43 fucking points a game. Sorry, that's amazing. It really is. That's amazing.
Once again, not saying there's not more talented players,
right?
In
but
terms of winning,
right?
And team success, and what one individual player has meant for that team success in a season, DeMar DeRozan.
Right. And then we got our dude Jeremy Munez in here. Half game out of first, but we're ranked 13th. Yes, the new NBA power rankings came up. I'm going to do an opinion piece over at ontapsportsnet.com about this probably tomorrow when I get a chance to actually sit down and write it. But, I was kind of blown away by that. Falling out of good graces in the top 10 that quickly. With the guy who just won Player of the Week with the team that's, like our buddy just said, a fucking half game out of first place. It just doesn't really add up to me. I don't really get where the disrespect's coming from here.
And it's not like we're sneaking up on first place. We held first place for the majority of the season.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Like, it's not like we went on some sort of fucking surge and came back. Kind of remember how Charlotte started when they started really bad, and then there was like that surge where they got up to third. Like, that's not what we did. Like, we literally just
We've been in the driver's seat.
Yeah,
we've been sitting shotgun for a little bit of this road trip, through some of these injuries, and we're a half game out heading into the deadline, right where you want to be. We're supposed to be getting healthy. There's a light at the end of the tunnel, and we're in the train. We're not on the train or on the tracks. We're in the driver's seat of the train. So
right.
It's insulting for both DeMar and the Bulls because they are such a global and like recognizable brand. It's not like they should be slipping through the cracks. It's interesting.
Yeah, it's just confusing to me. The Bulls in their conference are 23-13. That's tied for the best in the Eastern Conference against Eastern Conference opponents. In their division, they're 7-3, which is tied for the second best to Miami's 10-2. The Bulls actually have the best home record in the Eastern Conference at 22-8. And then they are 15-13 on the road, which is pretty typical with the at least the top 5 teams here. In Brooklyn is also very good on the road too. So, it's just kind of odd to me that they fell that far from grace that quickly within the people that make these
ranked as a play-in team from the
I guess they're getting what they wanted, right? Because that's what we read all fucking off.
They're holding on to it. They're holding on to it. They won't let it go.
Yeah, it's just so odd to me. So kind of falling back into the game here. I know we gave DAP before we went into our DeMar talk, but I do want to talk about Vooch. He is coming alive, and it's been more and more consistent.
Still can't shoot a lick, but
yeah, he can't hit the 3. He's struggling with the 3, but he's doing some good things at some good times when the Bulls need it. He finishes off with a +18 tonight. He played some pretty good defense, using the big body out there. But 25 points, 16 boards, and 5 assists for Vooch. He had 1 block. Unfortunately, he did have the 5 turnovers. Again, this kind of goes back to your point from the other day. It's starting to run through him a bit more. And you win some, you lose some in that category, whether you're a great point guard or whether you're a good passing center. You're going to have some turnovers. It's going to fucking happen. But, Vooch has been playing well for the last probably 2 weeks now. 2-3 weeks, he's been looking pretty good. So
since that Magic game, since that 30 laid against his former team, he's been showing up to play.
Absolutely.
The 3-point shot still hasn't really found its touch there.
Hopefully that'll start falling, though, because you're starting to see the regular field goal attempts starting to fall now. He shot 50% from the field tonight on 24 shots. Again, he was 1 for 7 from downtown. So if you remove that, pretty efficient night there. Still efficient at 50%. But, again, I think those are just –
as a team tonight.
The Bulls shot as a team tonight 52% off of 88 shots.
Okay.
And then they went 10 for 24 for 41% from 3, and they went 18 for 21 from the free throw line for 85%. So, and they out-rebounded the fuck. They out-rebounded the fuck out of San Antonio. Bad.
It's not something we can say very often.
No, they had 53 boards to San Antonio's 33.
And we could have traded for that Jakob Poeltl fella.
Jakob Poeltl. He only had 4 rebounds. Everybody wanted to fucking trade away Kobe White for Jakob Poeltl. Step on down. Yeah, please let me know how great was that. Speaking of our guy Kobe White, did you hear that awesome stat that Adam Amin threw out there today? He's like 20 for his last 37 threes.
No.
Yeah, he is 20 for his last 37 threes, I believe is the stat. I'll have to go look at the game log.
Which is really good considering how much he was struggling for a short period.
Remember, he was he struggled to start the season.
0 for 8, 1 for 9.
Right. And then he came in the middle part, and then he was on fire again, and then it slowed down during the trade deadline talk and having some bad games, and then all of a sudden, here he is scoring the fucking shit out of the rock and doing his job.
Key.
Yeah, it's sweet. Like I said, when we're healthy and him coming off the bench, it's absolutely huge. Io, another great game. This was the first time in his career that he fouled out. He played 30.
Adam corrected himself. He fouled out once previously.
Oh, did he?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay, because I was stealing Adam.
Charlotte. It was either Charlotte or Portland.
Oh, I think you're right, actually. You are right.
Adam corrected himself. He said, "I'm sorry, I lied to you."
Oh, thank you, Adam, because I didn't hear you correct yourself, and then I took that line. Now I look like a fucking jabroni. Thank you. But anyway, he fouled out tonight. 37 minutes for him. 5 for 9 from the field. 12 points, 4 assists, 3 boards, 1 steal, 1 block, no turnovers. I love to see that out of Io. I mean, he is primarily, his usage is pretty far up there. He's bringing up the ball a lot. You know,
to have that high of usage with the defensive responsibilities he has, guarding the best player on the opposing team most nights that's a lot to ask of any rookie.
Right. So, I mean, just, basically they're out there playing with 7 fucking guys right now because Matt Thomas and Tony Bradley really only gave you 10 minutes tonight. They didn't give you any points.
Because Billy realized in that 10 minutes that he can't afford those 10 minutes.
Oh, God. Yeah, I'm pretty surprised our guy Malcolm Hill didn't get in. I thought he might have got a little bit of run trying to, stay in front of DeJounte Murray. Because, Malcolm Hill's pretty quick laterally, strong guy. He didn't get any game time today, but that's all right. But it was TBJ, DJJ,
and you think that's just because they want to make it a little easier to cut somebody? I mean, although Hill's he's on a 2-way now.
Yeah, he's on a 2-way. Hill is.
So none of our buyout candidates will take one of those. So he's safe. He's safe. Maybe they just don't want to get him comfortable getting minutes, and then he's not getting.
And then just take him away from him. Yeah, right.
Be like, sorry, you're not ever going to play again. We got 3 guys on the buyout market.
Yeah, but I mean, I'll say Billy did a pretty good job with the starters, man. The starter that played the most minutes is the one that fouled out, Nio. He played 37 minutes. Everybody else was 34, 36, 35, 35.
One with the freshest NBA legs, so let him run.
Exactly. And then our boy DJJ, he came in, he did DJJ things. I really wish his finger didn't hurt because I'm sure he wishes that too because
it hurts you to watch his finger.
It does, because every time he cringes, and I broke my fingers before, man. I know how bad it sucks.
Yeah, that one's still crooked.
Yeah, Jesus Christ. Get that off here. I mean, we're going to get fucking flagged for inappropriate content with that curve. But
with that curve.
I'm sorry. Anyway, fucking A, dude. Yeah, but it just pains me to watch him fucking play, dude. I can see him. He's messing with that thing on his finger and shit. And it's just, but he's doing a good job, though. I'm glad he's back. I mean, he's still providing that, tough rebounding, 7 boards for him tonight. Good defense from him once again. It's good to have somebody like him coming off our bench. And hopefully these guys start trickling in sooner rather than later to get this.
Javonte didn't get to double digits tonight, did he?
No, he didn't. He fell more along his season average, except his 9 rebounds.
Okay.
He did have 9 boards tonight, Javonte Green.
I think we have to touch on Troy Brown a little bit.
The 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, and 11. Yeah, that was pretty. That was dope.
That was interesting. I mean, but tonight he had a couple big plays again. Obviously, the last game, a couple big boards.
Yeah, he hit 2 big threes tonight.
2 big threes, and then that pass to DJJ.
Yes,
fourth there. That was pretty huge.
Yeah, absolutely was. Troy Brown Jr. catches a lot of slack. I've been kind of out on him a little bit. But
it's easy to be out on him when you realize that you lost Daniel Gafford and now you have to watch Tony Bradley.
I thought Tony Bradley was gonna be a little bit better than he is.
Embiid was ready to build the Sixers around Tony Bradley. So, I was hoping Tony Bradley would be a little more confident too, and by the looks of having 2 years of a guaranteed contract. So did the Bulls. They thought they were getting a bit of a steal there, and instead they might have to end up eating that money. But we'll see what happens there with Mr. Bradley Jr.
Yeah, it's just kind of odd to me, some of the decisions that he makes when he has the ball. Same thing with Troy Brown Jr. The last couple games. That turnover he had tonight was fucking terrible. I threw up in my mouth. I just need him to – I need TBJ to be confident, because when he looks confident, he hits his shots and he makes the right decision. He plays good defense. He's got a knack of finding the ball. That's one thing I'll give him credit for. When we were struggling rebounding, there he is. Keeping the ball alive, grabbing the ball himself, getting the board. I'll give him credit where credit's due. Last couple games, even though he didn't shoot, he had no points last game, but he had 11 rebounds. That's still valuable somewhere. That's still valuable within on the basketball court, even if he's not hitting his shots. Don't turn the fucking ball over. Get the rebounds, then you could have a spot in the rotation if you're going to grab boards like that, especially limited minutes.
No, I mean, he's got to take advantage of the minutes that he's getting right now, because they're not going to be there for much longer.
Right. Oh, yeah, no, I mean, it's quickly coming. Once you get Lonzo, Caruso, and P. Will back, I mean, this rotation's going to look
your minutes are gone to Io. Like, you're not going to get a single minute in that rotation as soon as you get those 2 point of attack defenders back.
Yeah, that's fucking wild to even think about. I can't wait, though, to be honest with you. Next game. The Bulls will take on Sacramento. That's on Wednesday. So that's the last game before the All-Star break, which I want to talk to you about that real quick. And I think we'll break that even down more on Wednesday. But are you excited I just want to ask you, are you excited for the new rookie sophomore format? These like 4 teams that they're doing with fucking the legend coaches and shit. I think it's pretty neat, dude. Playing up to a game of 21. I think it was, or no, it was not 21. That's a lie. I think it was 75. You got to score 75 because all NBA 75 team or some shit like that. But I'm excited for the new format regardless.
No, I mean, that definitely sounds interesting. I like watching the young players. I mean, I like doing that more so when we were rebuilding and sucking and trying to figure out who, you could kind of trade for and steal down the road, or who you could hope for in restricted free agency. We're not at that point anymore, but the fact that Io will get to participate there makes that obviously a point of interest. More so curious to see if Zach participates in the festivities given his current lingering injury.
I'm glad you brought that up. What do you think he should do? Because as much as I hate to say this, because I selfishly want to watch him play, I still believe that we have a chance to do something special, whether or not it's a championship appearance or an Eastern Conference Finals appearance.
So
I think we have a chance to do something special. I really don't want to.
I think what Zach is, he's going to leave his specialist with confidence to do whatever it is he has to do, whether that's rehab or go back to being comfortable. And just, hey, Zach, it's wintertime in Chicago. It's freezing cold outside. You're 26, 27 years old now. Believe it or not, you did tear your ACL. That is going to ache, and you're going to have pains when it's freezing below zero outside. It's just part of getting old kind of thing. Like maybe he leaves with that kind of confidence, or maybe, hey, you should sit. This is inflamed, blah, blah, blah.
Right.
Whatever he leaves there with, I think will give him the confidence. The All-Star game at this point, it's like the All-Star game for the NFL. It's practically two-hand touch. Like,
yeah, I guess I don't know if it's because of the nostalgia, right? Of our childhood and how fun it was when we were young kids. I mean, because in the early 2000s, we were both young kids. And I mean, the All-Star game was fun. Like T-Mac against Tracy McGrady, against Vince Carter, against Kobe Bryant, against Dirk Nowitzki, against Tim Duncan and Shaq.
I mean,
they played hard too. Like, I mean, they didn't like try to fucking go at like hurt each other or anything like that. They weren't trying to play physical, but they were like, yo, like, let's get this into an ISO ball real quick and I'm gonna fucking school you. And like, that's how it was. So I'm always hoping for this new generation to maybe be a little bit more like that instead of LeBron and his super friends that didn't want to play that way, but I'm excited for NBA All-Star Weekend, but I do think that Zach should probably sit it out. I don't want him to fucking get tweaked up any more than he already has.
Fair enough. I just feel like whatever he leaves with from his specialist, that he'll have the confidence to do what needs to be done, whether that's take a break or participate and come back to playing outside of, back-to-backs and maybe being on like a 35-minute restriction, not being allowed to go over that 35-minute mark kind of thing.
Right, yeah.
Because, you have to wonder how much of this is like contract year worries. Like, is that just playing in the back of his head? Like, oh, this kind of ache, could cost me this much money again.
Well, I heard or I read, and I don't know where I read it from, but I read that Clutch Sports wanted to send him to get this MRI to this specialist. It's the same doctor that did his ACL injury back in 2017, right? It was the ACL injury. So the same doctor he's seeing again, but Clutch wants to protect their investment. So they're trying to make sure, nothing is wrong with him because they ultimately know what you just said. Payday's coming. Payday is coming. So if you have a chance to not further something that's going on wrong with you, you shut it down and you take it easy until you absolutely have to get in there. You know what I mean? So that's what I'm wondering if that's what it is. That's why I have this worry of what are they going to actually like, what if there's something structurally wrong or, as they say, his knee keeps getting swollen. So he's obviously that's building up liquid in your knee. That's going to have to continually get drained, which is going to lead to fucking problems. It doesn't happen for no reason. So I'm just hoping that it's nothing crazy serious and it's just, like you said, that below zero temperature fucking hurting a prior injury and that's it. Like I don't want anything else.
Yeah, I mean, just the fact that, I mean, for all people involved with the Bulls and for Zach and for Clutch, getting this cleared up, getting real answers and knowing with confidence that they can move forward like business as usual is good for everybody. Like the Bulls don't want Zach to play through this and hurt himself further. That means they're without Zach for the playoffs.
Yeah.
They'd rather be without Zach now than without the playoffs, especially the way DeMar's fucking playing.
Right.
Hopefully we take care of business against the Kings. We get to go on a 5-game win streak into the All-Star break there. And if everything goes as planned, Zach will come back, whether he plays or participates in those events or not. And we'll hit the ground running after the All-Star break with a nice head of steam because our schedule is going to get quite a bit more difficult than this 5-game stretch here.
Yeah, it's getting a little bit more chippy. That's for damn sure. Reinforcements will be needed. Yeah, getting into the nitty-gritty of the season here. Well, before the All-Star break does take place, we do have one more game. And again, that's against the Sacramento Kings. Believe it or not, Goose, Sacramento not looking bad since the Sabonis trade. They're 2-1 since the Sabonis trade. They added some size over there in Sacramento. I still think that they got rid of the wrong guy, which I can't believe I'm saying this, but Tyrese Halliburton is going to be a motherfucker, and I hate that he's in the Central Division. I don't like that at all. But, the Kings still 22-37. They're coming off a loss to Brooklyn, and they lost to them.
I guess the West isn't what it used to be. They are still kind of like right in the mix and the hunt there, but 22-37, and you made a move like that. I find that very interesting.
Yeah,
because they're 2-1 since acquiring them, so that means that they were even worse before they made the trade.
I think the whole reason that they acquired him in the first place, and that Sabonis being him, is because they wanted to pair a skilled big man to complement, obviously, what De'Aaron Fox does on the basketball court. And I get it because, listen, De'Aaron Fox has superstar written all over him if he's developed correctly and if he gets the right talent around him. And like you said, to be honest with you, they're not far out of the fucking play-in race. Portland is sitting at number 10 right now on a 3-game winning streak. Okay. Below them is
Portland blew up the whole entire roster.
Right. but below them is the New Orleans Pelicans at 23 wins. And then the Spurs and the Kings at both 22 wins. So the Kings are right there in this fucking play-in tourney. They're right there. They have plenty of time.
It is not hypocritical, Shy Sports. All right.
That is not. It's not the same thing, Chase. But it's not the same thing.
It's not the same. It's not the same.
We weren't that far below.
Wendell Carter Jr. in future picks. We didn't trade Halliburton.
And we weren't that many games below 500.
No. I think we were in a lot better position when we made the deal.
We were like only 4 games or some shit. Like we were 5 games.
Our shit kind of continued to hit the fan after the trade. Things didn't go quite as planned after the trade.
Things got real bad. Why are you always busting our balls over here? I love them.
And it's the Kings, like a very different situation.
Right. Yeah. God.
Similar concept. They want to be us, but very.
I just find it so funny how bad the West, how bad the West is now. Because, if the play-in wasn't there, the 8th seeded team right now, obviously, would make the playoffs, right? And that would be the 28-30 Los Angeles Clippers.
Without Kawhi.
Without Kawhi and PG, of course, but still. The 28-30. We have fucking teams fighting for this play-in and 9-8 that are 29 and 29, 30 and 27.
How fast
the East flipped.
Switched.
Yeah,
was
the East
crazy.
flipped. Yeah, the East flipped, man. It's insane how competitive it really did get. But yeah, I think the Bulls will, they'll match up good against the Kings, even hurt. Obviously, Zach is shut down. He will not be back for this game. Next time we see him will be the next game for the Bulls, or if he does participate in the All-Star festivities. But that's really about it. I don't have much else tonight, man. We went out there, we picked up a fucking win, big win. Oh, I do have one more thing. The Popovich, DeMar DeRozan, and Billy Donovan hug at the end of the game. I don't know why, but it almost got me.
You almost cried.
I did. I don't know why. I'm not gonna
I
lie.
I was cheesing. I was laughing with them. I felt like I was in the group hug with them there, but I wasn't gonna cry.
I don't know why, dude. I got emotional for a minute. I was like, oh my god, because I love Popovich. I mean, I've told you a million times I love Pop. Like that's my guy. And I was just sitting there like, oh, DeMar, you really had to piss this 72-year-old man off tonight like this. You had to just stick it right to fucking Pop.
Well, no, I mean, and I couldn't read their lips, but you could almost see how the conversation was going. And Pop was like, this guy didn't fucking do this last year. Like, what? Well, what did you do, Billy? What are you feeding this guy?
Yeah, no shit. That's fucking amazing. But I loved that moment. The mutual respect I thought was a pretty cool, little storyline there within the game. So definitely shout out to Pop. I love Greg Popovich, and the San Antonio Spurs have always been my favorite Western Conference team just because of Tim Duncan and Tony Parker, Manu, Pop. So crazy to see them falling out, especially towards Pop's
the Spurs for our generation were like the Patriots without the cheating.
Right. Yeah, basically, right. They didn't have to fucking cheat. They have to there's no fucking deflate gate over here.
Other than the tanking for Timmy that they kind of sneakily pulled off there, no, they didn't have to cheat.
Well, that's good. They didn't have to cheat, and they were dominant. 5 championships, right? 5 championships for Tim Duncan and the Spurs, along with Popovich. It's fucking big time. It's definitely big time. He's been the coach of the Spurs since 1998, I think, or some shit. 1997.
So as long as my brain goes back to remembering, almost.
Yeah, mine. I was born in 91, but I'm an idiot, so I forgot a lot of shit between, those other years. I kind of come in around 2003 is when I kind of start remembering shit. I was already 12.
Okay, fair enough.
Yeah, I hit my head a lot, man. But yeah, I don't have much else left here tonight. Great win for the Bulls. DeMar DeRozan's the MVP. You got anything else?
No, I mean, I think it's a nail on the head with that second one. DeMVP. That's all I got left to say.
Yeah, DeMVP, man. DeMVP. We'll be back on Wednesday when the Bulls take on the Sacramento Kings. But I forgot what I was going to say, actually, because I had one more thing, and now it's gone. What the fuck was I going to say? Oh, if there's any updates.
I was wanting to let you know that he ended the last show prematurely because he was scared of a hypothetical mouse in the Buzz Cave.
It was a spider, and it was a big fucking spider, so it's not funny to laugh about that because I'm scared of those too. No, it's not. Like, what the fuck am I going to do? Try to karate chop it? What am I going to do if it fucking jumps at me? I don't know.
You're going to talk Bulls and let the cat handle business off the air.
How the fuck am I going to do that? Thing's sitting on my lap right now. Dude, the fucking spiders down here, we're not talking about this right now. Because I was legit scared, though. The fear in my eyes, I mean, when I was talking to you, I don't like mice, dude. I don't like fucking spiders. Like, I will fucking karate chop. I will throat punch a mouse if I have to. I will fuck a mouse up, but I don't want to touch it. I don't want to fucking touch it. They carry disease, I read. And I don't need that shit in my life, Goose. All right?
Fair enough.
All right. Just saying.
Fair enough.
All right. Everybody be sure to go on OnTapSportsNet.com for all your Chicago sports literature and podcasting needs. Following us on Twitter at BullsOnTap, at OnTapSportsNet. Following Goose at BullsScripted, me at BuzzOnTap. Anywhere you can listen to podcasts, you can listen to us, 5-star rating and review, because that's cool and tough. Everybody that comes into the YouTube and subscribes, thank you very much. We love the comment section. Keep telling your friends. Come to the OnTap Sportsnet YouTube, subscribe to the channel. Hop in the comment section for every Bulls post game. We're usually here. Again, we'll be back on Wednesday after the Bulls take on the Sacramento Kings.